Our top focus on Newspoint this morning. French President Emmanuel Macron spoke about the Ukrainian counteroffensive which is underway. He said that Ukraine's operation will go on for weeks or even months. Macron said this in Paris along with Polish President and also German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Take a listen.
Of course, there is a counteroffensive, and we want it to be as victorious as possible so that we can launch a phase of negotiations under the right conditions. But our support will last as long as necessary.
Macron further said that Kyiv's allies had stepped up deliveries of weapons and ammunition, armored vehicles, support and logistics. He said that they are continuing to deliver to equip and support Ukraine. At the same time, they are maintaining the operational condition of several pieces of equipment already delivered that may have been damaged. Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials said that Russia had launched a massive missile attack overnight, and an air raid sirens were blaring across Ukraine early this morning as well. The Russian forces allegedly carried out an attack on the central Ukrainian city of Kyiv, which is a 5-story apartment building, and was attacked. Now, all the windows were blown out and smoke coming out of them as well. Ukraine's top military command said that the air forces destroyed 10 out of the 14 cruise missiles Russia launched on Ukraine. They also said that one of the 4 Iranian-made drones were also destroyed. Rafael Grossi, the chief of the International Atomic Energy Agency, is set to visit Kyiv today. He will meet with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky before heading to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. The visit comes after the IAEA warned that the dam disaster had complicated the precarious nuclear safety and security situation at the plant.
There has to be a number of conditions, and conflict the number.
Let's also now tell you about Ukraine's much-anticipated counteroffensive, which has begun. The region marked in yellow as we speak is the Ukrainian region, like you can see, while the region marked in red is the Russian-occupied, the region which has been occupied by the Russian forces, while the one you see in purple is the area which signifies Ukraine's counteroffensive. Now in total, as you can see, Kyiv has reclaimed or recaptured 7 villages. Now these are majorly in the Zaporizhzhia and in the Donetsk regions. Now the major areas where Kyiv has taken control is, like I said, the Zaporizhzhia region around here and the Donetsk region, which is situated right below. Now, the Ukrainian troops have said that they have taken control of an area of 90 square kilometers near the Zaporizhzhia. So this area that you see, where these Lebonko, Novodarka and Livden, these villages where they are situated, it's this area where Ukraine has made advancements. The reclaimed region is just a fraction of the 40,000 square miles that remains under Russia's occupation. However, Moscow has not officially acknowledged any of these Ukrainian advances. And for more on this, we now have with us Ruslan Bortnik. He is the director of the Ukrainian Institute of Politics from Kyiv, and he's joining us live on the show. Thank you so much for joining us on WION, sir. Right. Now, sir, Ukraine has taken 7 villages from the Zaporizhzhia and the Donetsk region, while Moscow has made no comment about it. Can we say that Ukraine has been successful with its first counteroffensive advancement?
It's hard to talk about how deep is this success, but we can say that Ukrainian counteroffensive operation is really started, and it started in a few directions. 3 directions in the south front, from the river of Dnieper till the Veremeivka, till the Ubledar, and Ukraine was also going to continue the counteroffensive operation around the Bakhmut. And Ukraine is going to continue counteroffensive operation around the Kharkivska Oblast. It looks like we are on the only first stage in these counteroffensive operations, and we have dealt with some kind of reconnaissance in force. Ukraine is trying to find the weak places, weak dots in Russian offensive line. And for nowadays, Ukraine use not more than 15 till maybe 20% of Ukrainian army reserves, And I think this first stage will continue 1 or maybe 2 weeks, and then Ukraine will send to the battlefield our main reserves to the weakened place of Russian offensive line.
Right, so also now Ukraine is now fighting with new materials, strategy and also NATO caliber tanks. And the offensive has just begun as we speak. What other new elements or what next steps can we expect as we move forward with Ukraine's much anticipated counteroffensive?
This counteroffensive operation, Ukraine is built almost at all in new Western weapon. We are talking about the Leopard tanks, we are talking about the Bradley armored vehicles, and we are talking about the different various range of anti-aircraft systems, average, Hawks, and so on, which is Ukrainian army is using nowadays. So it's a first so scaled first use of Western weapon in this war, I think, in general. And of course, Ukraine takes a lot of losses. I'm talking about the techniques and weapons, and I'm talking about the people, because Russian defending line is very strong, is very good built, is very good equipped. And Russia was prepared for this offensive operation more than half a year. I think Ukraine will continue this pressure on the long range of battlefield during the next 1 or 2 weeks, and then Ukraine will make the 1 main or 2 main strikes to the direction to Mariupol or Tokmak or so on.
Right, we've discussed as to what is happening on the ground, but let's also talk about the other dimension of the ongoing Ukraine-Russia war. Now, Macron has clearly said that they will continue to deliver ammunition to Kyiv, along with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and the Polish president. In your viewpoint, do you think that there is a European bloc that is emerging with an aim to bring Putin on the negotiating table without the interference of US or UK?
I would like to think so, but I don't think so. I think even Ukrainian counteroffensive operation will be successful. Russia will not sit down near the table of negotiation, because Russia is going to continue this war till the end, and Russia is not going to talk with Ukraine seriously. Look at, just see on the last Russian demands to Ukraine, which were announced by the Russian Senator Stekov and Medvedev and another person. They are still deepening their demands to Ukraine. So I think, unfortunately, it's very bad for our country. I think any changes in the battlefields will not lead us nowadays to the peaceful negotiation. Only the changing in geopolitics and the time will make us closer to this negotiation.
Right, you say that Putin will not come on the negotiating table, and there will be no negotiations that will take place forward. So in your viewpoint, when do you think the war will actually come to an end?
I hope maybe in a few years. If there will not be some kind of political agreement between Russia, United States, China, and another important country, India, so is. But because for all the sides of this war is existential war. The future of all the countries involved in this war depends on this war. The peaceful negotiation and the peace in the nearest future, I think, unfortunately impossible.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us and WION and sharing your insights with us on this.